The 2016 Atlantic hurricane season started today. But if you think just because Tennessee is landlocked, the tropics aren't our concern, think again. Meteorologist Henry Rothenberg explains how the storms could have a major impact right here in the mid-state.
June 1st. Just like a regular day for many of you, but in the world of meteorology, a very significant day. It's the start of hurricane season, and we've already seen an active start to this year with two named storms, one in January and the one we saw Memorial Day weekend. Now, first things first, how do we get these storms? Well, think about if you're boiling some water. When you take the top off of that pot, that steam rises. It's pretty much what happens out in the ocean. Once we've had time for that ocean water to heat up to about 80 degrees, you start to get this evaporation that in turn forms these clouds that eventually can become these massive storms out to sea. And they have different cycles as well. The first cycle being a tropical depression. That's when we have winds of 38 miles per hour or less. Once we go from those winds of 38 miles per hour or less strengthening some, say 39 miles per hour to 73 miles per hour, that's when we name the storm and it becomes a tropical storm. 74 miles per hour and greater, well, that's when we reach hurricane status. And that's when we really have to watch things closely. But it's not until the later months of hurricane season, June 1 through November 30th, really about the middle of it, that is when we see the peak of the season, because August and September are when ocean waters are at their warmest. The sun angle's been its highest, so the ocean's had some time to heat up. So how is this relevant to us here in Tennessee? Well, first, let's start in the Gulf of Mexico. You've got the panhandle of Florida, Georgia, you've got Alabama, Mississippi. That's all before you get to Tennessee. But when we have these storms to form, they can still bring this tropical moisture in with that counterclockwise motion, and at the very least, it can bring some humidity to us here in the mid-state. Now, when these storms make landfall, you can even get some of these outer rain bands to push in too. Same story in the Atlantic. When these storms form, yes, they're hundreds of miles away. You've got South Carolina, North Carolina, still parts of Georgia until you get to Tennessee. But what will happen is, and we saw it with Bonnie Memorial Day weekend, these storms will start to work inland. That counterclockwise motion brings some tropical moisture in, and at times, if they come far enough inland, you can once again see some rain bands. So while we don't have to worry about hurricanes making landfall in Tennessee, we still need to keep a close eye on potential impacts as we head through hurricane season from June 1 through November 30th. In the studio, meteorologist Henry Rothenberg, News Channel 5.